Hey, don't mind us in the suit. A little formal for this channel. We're just up here making national news. Mike Johnson flips Epstein's script on GOP, says Ghislaine Maxwell should testify, and Pam Bondi must release files. Mike Johnson was speaking to Benny Johnson and telling you exactly what you wanted to hear today. This was a monster clip. It is going thermonuclear viral, and we are so happy to be lending our voice to something that President Trump wants to see happen. And how can I say that? You know that we have given some tough love to this question of releasing the Epstein files. It's the reason why we've asked so many questions about them, because it is a promise made to the American public. Here's President Trump. This would be in June of last year, almost 1 year ago today. President Trump saying he will declassify the JFK files. Promise made, promise kept. The Epstein files, we're working on that one. 9/11, maybe that's going to be the next one, right? 9/11 files, we'll see. And ladies and gentlemen, in this answer is very interesting what President Trump said. What President Trump said in this answer is that he doesn't want people to be hurt by the declassification of this, because Jeffrey Epstein is such a lurid figure that perhaps you would be able to destroy someone's career just by Jeffrey Epstein meeting him for lunch one time, right? And there's a lot of that, and this is an obvious thing to be concerned about, because a lot of these people are potentially people that President Trump knows. Nobody wants to see innocent people be destroyed, right? Right. Not this channel. No honest person does. Here's Donald Trump's full answer here that kind of explains something. And then, most importantly, we're going to show you something that President Trump just did that changes this entire landscape forever. This is fascinating. Okay, so here's President Trump's original promise to release the Epstein files with a caveat.
Hey, the FBI, all those institutions.
You're right.
Some people think that one way to build trust is to declassify things that everyone's talking about. I know you talked earlier about it. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. So if you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these. Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so, because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Okay, so now we have brand new, but also the same, right, talking points from President Trump on this issue from the White House lawn. Now he's president a year later, and Donald Trump just changed the game up at the White House, going out on the lawn and saying, when asked if he still has faith in Pam Bondi, gives an explanation that says she has to release the documents. You have to listen carefully, because Donald Trump talks in a very specific and unique way. But at the very end of his comments here, and Donald Trump, he prefaces it by saying that things could have been added to there could be credible and non-credible information in all the evidence on Epstein. And so you just got to be careful. I don't disagree with that, quite frankly. And so you need to release what is credible, is what President Trump said. He says you need to release more of the documents. This is a huge win for all of us. Have a listen.
The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
What? On
the DOJ and FBI
On what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein.
Okay.
On Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well. And it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
This is a genius move. President Trump has gotten a ton of Democrats now saying that they want to release the Epstein files. And perhaps was this just Trump erring on the side of caution? Was this Trump trying to get the Democrat Party to call for this as well? I'm not sure. But I really like that answer from President Trump. It shows obviously major migration on this issue. And that the reason I played you the old clip from a year ago, was because it seems to be consistent in that President Trump is saying that people could have weaponized or used this information to harm their political enemies. And we know that they did. And that Donald Trump doesn't want to destroy innocent people, which is a totally morally defensible position. And so that's okay. Like, I'm all right with erring on the side of caution in the sense that you need to explain your work, right? So this is what you need to do. You need to release Epstein's list. Then you need to release the list of people who were accused of, credibly, sexual crimes. And that list exists. We know that list exists because Alan Dershowitz just told us about that list. Dershowitz was Epstein's lawyer, and he's been involved in these Epstein lawsuits. And so he would know better than any human being alive that there are the list of people that Jeffrey Epstein's had coffee with. And let's remember, he was prolific. This was the model of the op, was that Jeffrey Epstein wormholed his way into polite society in every way he could conceivably get access, including to Donald Trump. And he was like a member at Mar-a-Lago, right? And like, where did he get the money? How does he buy the membership? Nobody knows. But he was a member at Mar-a-Lago. Like, Trump kicked him out. Trump helped in the prosecution of Jeffrey Epstein the first time in 2028 when the feds got him a sweetheart deal. Anyway, the point is that Alan Dershowitz has explained to us that there are actually 2 Epstein lists. This is a massive, massive piece of breaking news. President Trump saying Pam Bondi has to release the lists and release all the information is a big and good step forward. Here's Dershowitz explaining the differences.
Is the government hiding a client list or anything that the Trump administration could release tonight?
No, there is no client list. There never has been a client list. A client list suggests that Jeffrey Epstein made a list of people to whom he trafficked women. What there is a redacted FBI affidavit from accusers. There are several of them. From accusers that accuse that accuse various people of having improper sex, and that has been redacted. The names of the people accused have been blacked out. Now, of course, because I was the lawyer and I did only investigations, I know who all these people are. I could figure out, based on everything that I saw, who Mr. X is, Mr. Y is, and Mr. Z. I can tell you right now, none of them are public figures who are currently in office. Some of them were previously in office. Some of them are dead. But there is no client list. And the redactions could be undone if you go to court. So many of the things that are being suppressed by 2 judges in Manhattan. And they're doing it largely to protect the alleged accusers who are, in the view of the judges, victims, even though we don't know what their actual status is. But the judges have issued orders, which is why I can't disclose things I'd love to disclose, saying that you can't disclose this information. But Pam Bondi and the Justice Department and Donald Trump are not responsible for that. I don't know of any information that they could disclose that they haven't disclosed.
So this is what's going viral right now, obviously all across the internet. What Pam Bondi thinks is credible, she should release, says Donald Trump. Release whatever is credible. He says that there is some information that's not credible in there, and I think that stands to reason, quite frankly. Totally. I think that this is not a time. What the Trump administration seems to have done is acted recklessly in the release of this information, and now is the time for caution and for explaining your work, for showing your work, obviously. Now, I've never wanted them to just burn people to the ground. Show your work, arrest the criminals. Trump says AG Bondi should release the files of credible Epstein information. That is a big, big W, ladies and gentlemen. Pam Bondi, however, would not respond to President Trump saying this afternoon that he'd like to see her release all the materials Later in the presser, Bondi said the Epstein memo speaks for itself. Well, there you go. Today, our memo speaks for itself, and we'll get back to you on anything else. How would you like to respond to the MAGA base that expressed so much frustration about this? We're going to keep fighting to keep America safe. Yikes. I mean, I guess we'll see, ladies and gentlemen, what happens. This was our question to the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, on this topic. And made a ton of news on it. Very proud to have been doing this work for you. Here's how Mike Johnson responded.
A question here about it that concerns either testifying or testimony for Ghislaine Maxwell, potentially before Congress, or if you would support members like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Anna Paulina Luna on the release of subpoenaing the Epstein documents from the DOJ, whether you would support either of those.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Marjorie or Anna about that specific subject, but I'm for transparency. We're intellectually consistent in this. We look, Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well, and I trust him. I mean, he put together a team of his choosing, and they're doing a great job. It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it. I mean, the White House and the White House team are privy to facts that I don't know. I mean, this isn't my lane. I haven't been involved in that. But I agree with the sentiment that we need to put it out there. And you know, Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody. I like Pam. I mean, I think she's done a good job. We need the DOJ focusing on the major priorities. So let's get this thing resolved so that they can deal with violent crime and public safety and election integrity and going after Act Blue and the things that the president is most concerned about, as we are. So I'm anxious to get this behind us.